So towards the end of February, the White House finally did what they had actually teased way back in, I think, late November or December. And they said, listen, we're opening the door and we're bringing in these non-traditional media outlets. And listen, am I crazy about all these people being in there? Absolutely not. There's not a single one of these outlets that I like that they're in there. But I even said back then when we first talked about this, I like the idea because it kicks the door open.
You've said this before it was even talked about. Why in the world don't they let the average media guy that has a big audience, that has an influence on that, why don't they let them? Why is it that we believe that we're always going to get the right take by AP? Why do we believe that? I mean, look, for example, I send stuff to AP all the time about people dying from dangerous drugs or corporations polluting entire ecosystems. You know how much response we get? Zero, okay? So the point is, maybe you do open it up, but there's some dangers there, right?
Yeah, obviously, look, when you have a Republican president and you bring in nothing but right-wing outlets, what are you going to end up with? You're going to end up with a lot of positive coverage, which is what they want. Mm-hmm. And look, I'll be totally fair here. If a Democrat had done this, we would probably see a lot of left-wing outlets go in there too.
Good job.
So it is the same thing no matter which side, but at the same time, the media landscape has shifted. And I will also say, what I love about this story though, is that you've got all these outlets pissed off now because, and this is the reason this is a good idea, they felt entitled. They felt
You have always said that they, for some reason, believe, I'm with the AP. I don't care if
legacy.
I don't care if your writing isn't worth a damn. We're going to give you a front row here. Or I'm with New York Times. So what? There are people out there that are great thinkers that aren't with New York Times. Yeah. They're incredible journalists who are not with the AP. They're independents who try to say, let's talk about let's analyze this another way. You're concerned about this is we're going to end up with all the same kind of characters out there. Here's my response to that, Farron. There is consequences to losing elections. All right?
Yeah.
It's the free market system in a sense. I mean, really, that's the best. There are consequences.
Yeah.
And when you make bad decisions, like these Democrats have done time and time again, there are consequences. And at the time when flags are flying and you're having big meetings, everybody's happy and cheering, and you still know you're making bad decisions, there are consequences. This is one of them right here.
You know, I will say too, this story was talking about how mad the media outlets are, and one of them that they pointed out was Politico. Because Politico obviously has, I don't know if they're front row or maybe second row, but Politico says this is outrageous. We're all part of this legacy media is the word they use.
Yeah.
And it made me think, okay, well, I guess Politico has been around that long. So I looked it up, 2007. Okay. Politico has only existed since 2007. So no, I'm sorry, Politico, don't put yourself on the same pedestal as the Washington Post. Ring of Fire has existed longer than Politico has.
Well,
and so
go ahead, I'm sorry.
Well, I was going to say, there was a time, Politico, when you had to kick your way into the door.
Yes.
And so don't begrudge.
You're anything but legacy.
Right. Don't begrudge other outlets who get the same chance you got.
Politico needs to listen to what I'm about to say, okay? Politico may be on the chopping block. Here's how. You remember what happened to RT America, Al Jazeera? They said you're owned by you're an out of the country corporation.
Unregistered foreign agent.
And you're doing business in the United States. That's Politico. Yeah. You understand? They're not an American corporation. They're owned in Brussels and about 4 or 5 different places. And the person that owns them is not really a loved character. You read Politico and you're like, God, this is left-wing, progressive, open thinking. The guy that owns it is anything but that. You're going to see Politico move very close to the chopping block. And it was the Democrats who brought all this up. You remember, we can't have a foreign corporation doing journalism in the United States. Yeah. That came from the Democrats.
We talked about the issue with Politico on that probably half a year ago or so.
Politico is not even an American corporation. And to talk about the quality of their journalism, I saw a story the other day, some jackleg says, I'm creating a new political party. Really? Is that a story? Like, what are there 11 political parties already? And this is a big story. You know, this is a story in Politico. I believe there's some connection there. I don't know what it is, but the point being, Politico better be damn careful. They ought to, not only should they be concerned that they don't have a second row seat, they need to be concerned that there are the tools available to this administration to where they don't even do business in the U.S.
Right, and look, again, I'm not happy about the outlets they've brought in, but the changes did need to be made. And really, I mean, when you look at the amount of media that people consume these days, it's not from cable news, it's not from newspapers or, you know, even a lot of these online news outlets. It's podcasts. You know, those really are the people, careful, because a lot of them are super weird.
Well, that's your point. Your point is, let's look at who they're bringing in. Before we say, oh, this is a wonderful.
Yeah, but I mean, you can go out there in the podcast world and you can find real, honest journalists. I mean, pull in people from The Lever. Pull in folks from The Intercept.
Exactly.
Let's put them in the front
look
row.
Look at the quality of The Lever
there.
in The Intercept.
Yeah.
This is real journalism.
Yeah, that's what we want.
And you know
there.
what? It's not one side to anything, man.
No, it's not.
You'll see The Lever go right down the middle. You'll see you'll see there are organizations out there that say we want to report the news again. I just want to report the news again. And some of the news reports you may not like, but it's the news.
Yeah.
It's like when I know you know this, but when you and I talked about Pap, what do you want to start doing on this show? You're really, really good at what you do, coverage on the left. You're just, again, I say it again, you're one of the best in the business. My theory has always been, I want to come down the middle. When I started coming down the middle, my numbers went from, 40,000 to 15,000. The difference is, I really don't care. I honestly, I'm able to do that because I don't care. It doesn't change my life. But I think, to me, what I want to do is I want to report the news. And I want to be as middle on the road as I can about it and let people judge the story, not judge my spin on the story.
Yeah. And look, again, the thing with The Intercept or The Lever is if you put those folks in there, they're going to ask informed questions, not just ask questions.
Yeah.
You've got people in there right now that'll say, hey, what do you project the Pentagon budget's going to be? Mm-hmm. Okay, well, that's...
They're headline questions is what you call them.
Right. Whereas The Intercept or The Lever is going to say, hey, why has the Pentagon not passed a budget for the or not passed an audit for the last 15 years? What are you going to do about that? And that's the difference in the questions and the difference in the reporting.
You got to be a real journalist to get there. I saw a story the other day, and I was going, what the hell? They were talking about Covington Burling, isn't it? Yeah. And the whole story, that was an important story, but they failed to mention that, oh, by the way, Eric Holder is with Covington Burling. He's on the 5th floor. Because it tied into the story so completely. I forgot exactly, but I was reading it. How could a journalist not know that? Why would you not be able to add that to the story and round the story out a little bit more? I see it all the time. Yeah. Fair and thanks.